We can do Carly Jean again,
Yeah.
but we are not opening a store. I'm like, what? I don't even know my Facebook login. How am I gonna open a virtual online store? This is not gonna happen. I mean, I think we grew, I wanna say like 10,000%.
We're sitting down with Carly Jean Brannon in her Malibu home to tell us all about faith, family, and motherhood.
Hello.
Hi. So tell me a bit about the name behind CJLA.
Yeah, well, Carly Jean Los Angeles is an easy one. It's my name, Carly Jean, but it's also my mom's first name is Jean as well. So we started the brand Carly Jean Los Angeles, or a store is what I really should call it, back in 2004. I just graduated high school and I dropped out of school and was like, hey, will you let me try this opening a store? And she's like, sure, I'll do it with you. We'll do it together. So that's where the Jean comes from. And then about 6 months in, I ended up buying out my half of Carly Jean Los Angeles. And so I took it from there, and I kept the name because obviously it's still mine, and she's such a huge part of who I am and what I do.
I love that. Okay, so tell me your story with like the beginning of CJLA and kind of, so you had this idea, was it a prompt from God or just idea that you were dreaming up on your own? What does that look like?
Yeah, I grew up in a very creative household. My mom is an artist, a fine artist, graphic designer, and my dad's a musician. So from day one, I was like, I have to do something weird, right? You can't do something normal with a mom and dad who are those. I couldn't be like a doctor or a scientist or something. So yeah, coming from a really creative household, creativity was always really fostered in anything I did. It was always like, yeah, go for it. I feel like nowadays, oftentimes, I think it could be challenging having a kid who's like, I want to do something creative, and I think a lot of families are like, how does that work out?
Right.
But I think God was really kind in giving me the mom and dad that He did, and two people who really supported just creativity. And so I was around that all the time. So, I grew up oftentimes with I was an only child. So I grew up with two grandmas. I feel like I'm the combination of both of them. One is, she comes from a seamstress family. So she was sewing all the time. I was watching hands-on work like that being done in our house. She would always make clothes for her own kids. She made clothes for her grandkids. And then I had another grandmother, my dad's mom, who was just this like crazy, classy, just amazing taste lady. She knew great brands. She knew what to wear. She knew what worked together. And then I had this like very hands-on, very thrifty grandma. We'd go to estate sales, we'd go to the thrift store, and she knew quality. So I feel like I learned kind of from both of them.
Yeah.
One was like the resource side, like we can make that. And then the other one was like, here's what goes together. So just a sweet combination of those two ladies together.
Kind of the perfect. Perfect match.
Perfect match. But I feel like it kind of started with kind of growing up around them. And then I loved fashion. I used to estate sale as a kid with my grandma as my mom, and I loved the thrill of the hunt. I loved finding things. I felt like I was gifted with a hunting ability to find treasures in dark places.
I love that.
And so I always had a fun time doing that. And then I oftentimes was like, I feel like I need an outlet, something to do with these. So maybe someday I'll have a store, or, with my vintage collection. And but I just started working retail. I had friends. It was in high school. I was in high school, and friends were working retail. And I'm like, I'll work retail. I need some extra spending money. And so I learned a ton. I got a job at a clothing store. It was a kind of a higher end women's clothing store. I couldn't afford a single thing in it. But I just, faked it till I made it and was like, yes, these are amazing. I knew what went together, so I could at least do that.
Right.
But it was really fun. We were outfitting people for large, formal events and award shows and all sorts of stuff. And I just learned a ton there. So I was there, and then I was with, before it got sold, Lucky Brand in its original days, when it was privately owned by two local LA guys.
I love that, yeah.
And I got to see it grow and see how things were made and see how to merchandise and how to help customers. And I learned a ton working there. And so, and again, it was in its origin. It was a very rad company in its OG days. It was very, very cool. But it just was a sweet place for me to learn and kind of foster just care for people and customers and how to help people get dressed. And
Yeah.
so I spent a few years all through my high school years was working there. And I just knew I was like, I want to do something in this world. I'd sketch bodies and dresses and things like, oh, this would be cool to put together. And I think that just the combination and culmination of all those things together was like, I think I'm bound to do something in this world.
Yeah.
And I feel like we oftentimes say, even at Carly Jean Los Angeles, we're hiring people, we always say, what would you do for free? Like, what do you love doing? You know, we don't want someone to come in here that's like, what I really want to do is this. We're like, go do that and do what you really love.
Right.
So, you know, you might need to do some things in the meantime to get there, but you want to work in something that you love and that you're gifted in and you enjoy. And so for me, it was that. I was just like, I love fashion. I love helping people get dressed. I love putting things together. And so, yeah, opened CJLA at when I was 19 with my mom.
That's wild.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
I love that your parents were so supportive of that.
Yeah.
And it kind of pieces together everybody in your family, your grandparents, your parents. I love that.
Yeah.
And you, the different pieces, how do you come up with what's part of the brand? How do you identify what's CJLA?
Yeah, I think for us, it's timeless. I mean, we're a brand that we want people to have a product that, you know, there's so much stuff that's trend and fast and here and then it's gone. And that is just not the point of our brand. Our brand is for people to have closets that are timeless, pieces that you live in that, you know, stand the test of time and trends. We always joke it needs to be something that's so comfy you can sleep in it. And that's anything from a pair of jeans to, you know, a satin dress to a blazer. Like it has to be comfy because we make clothes for real life. That's really what the brand is about. It's the stuff you live in. It's the stuff that you wear on repeat. And I think too, we just respect people's time and budgets. And if we're going to offer something or we're going to create something, we want it to be something that like is going to last. It's going to be something that you wear all the time. We always talk about cost per wear, that it's like, this is such a high frequency piece. So the majority of what we make is really with the intention of high wear in your closet and just high wear in your life.
Yeah, and how has that shifted for you with motherhood?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, it has been just an interesting morph. I feel like we've really, two things. One is I feel like we've incorporated our kids and family into everything we do. I used to go down and have meetings or production meetings, and I just remember like Karen, you know, back now the car seats are like super lightweight and fantastic, but back in the day, I'm dating myself. But I like one time Chad accidentally forgot to put like the car seat stroller contraption in, and I had a bunch of meetings, and I will never forget getting home that night. I was like, oh my gosh, my arm doesn't work. I just carried a car seat from like meeting to meeting to, you know, warehouse to warehouse, and so we just took our kids with us into stuff. When my kids were little and still to this day, I had help and support in other ways, maybe someone to help me clean or things like that I needed. But an important one for us was just having our kids with us. And so whether that was just a pack and play at my store back in the day that I would have a baby taking a nap in the back room, or whether it was taking my kids with me to meetings and things. My family lives close by too, and so they've been really supportive in that too. Hey, can you come watch kids for me, or can you help in this way? So I think our kids have been a big part of it. And the second, I think, is just being mindful with time as well. You know, we homeschooled for years, and in this season, my kids are in school during the day, and so I've just been really mindful of okay, when my kids are at school, I'm going to jam. And when my kids are home, I'm going to be home. And so just being really mindful to make the most of that. And that's not perfect. There's plenty of times when like,
it gets mixed.
You know, today I was like, okay, everybody, you can't come home at 4 o'clock. Love y'all. Go to youth group tonight. In and out's for dinner. You know, so there's some realistic to that too.
Right.
And there's seasons where something comes up and is busy. But I think the heartbeat is I want to be with my kids and I want my kids to see that in me. So I always joke, I'm like, I just have a hobby that's grown, just a big hobby. I'm a stay-at-home mom with a big hobby.
With a big hobby. I love that. It is hard because balancing between, you know, being present, but knowing you have these to-dos to get done, but that motivation of knowing that your kids see how hard you work when you are working, but then you equally work as hard to create boundaries to be with them. I think that's something that I've definitely been learning and trying to keep very strongly, is having those boundaries of like, they'll see me work really, really hard, and they know like, here's the work time, and then here's the time, and when we're with you 110%. We're ready to play, have fun, like all the things. Like work hard, play hard.
100%.
Exactly.
That's absolutely it. And I think too, another thing to add is I think just the thought of work is a gift, right? I
Yeah.
think we often live in a world that makes work feel like a burden and makes work feel like there's no joy and gratitude in it. So I
Yeah.
think just seeing that too, I want my kids to come away and see work as a blessing that has been a provision and has been a gift, where it's a blessing to work. It's a blessing to have that too. And whether that be in our homes, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe a woman is watching and she's like, I'm not going to work. There's plenty of work in everyday life. And so just seeing that done with
Yeah.
joy and seeing that done with a good attitude and seeing that done with a grateful heart, I think is part of the goal too.
Yeah, I think that really builds character in the kids as well, and like learning that work ethic.
Yeah.
Because idle hands is
Yeah.
never good
Nope.
for anyone.
No.
And so having those, whether it's a hobby,
Yeah.
or whatever it is that you're working towards,
Yeah.
it really creates this just like this drive and purpose
Sure.
beyond yourself. And God really designed us to
Yeah.
move our bodies,
Yeah.
work our hands,
Yeah.
That's how we were designed. So when we are sitting and not moving and not working and not working towards a greater purpose, we do feel, a little bit lost or unfulfilled.
Sure.
And I think
Yeah.
kids sense that.
Yeah.
Our kids will sense that, and then they kind of won't have that direction. But I think growing up in a household, I'm sure for your kids, they'll probably speak more to this, because they're older,
Sure.
Versus my kids are really little. But so they've probably seen it, lived it, and are experiencing a season where they're probably like thinking about what they want to do.
Yeah.
And then seeing their parents,
Yeah.
go hard,
Yeah.
work hard,
Yeah.
and play hard,
Yeah.
really inspiring and, building character.
Yeah. I
So
hope that's the goal.
Yes. Yeah, we
The
don't
verdict's-
we don't see the fruit until later.
Yeah.
I remind myself that every day. Okay, I'm not going to see this fruit yet. We're
Yeah,
doing
being
good.
faithful
Keep
to
moving.
Keep sowing the seeds. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so
That's sweet.
I'd love to hear about your personal story, your walk with God.
Yeah.
Just did you grow up a Christian? Did you?
Yeah, I feel like I was raised in a quasi-Christian home. My mom's a believer, my dad's not. And so I think the Lord used that just in great ways in my life, kind of getting to see the difference of what it looked like to see someone as a Christian and someone who doesn't believe or profess. And I feel like the Lord's working on that and working on him. So we'll see that that story's not done yet. But yeah, I feel like I grew up attending a Christian school. My mom took me to church as a little one. And so I grew up hearing the gospel and hearing just the hope of the Lord and hearing I was in desperate need of a savior. And so I heard that as a young kid over and over. And I don't think it was till like early in elementary school that I really realized like I am either a Christian or I'm not. There's no like in between. I'm not a Christian because I go to the school. I'm not a Christian because I go to this church or my mom's a Christian. Like this is a personal relationship with Jesus. And so I just realized I was a sinner in need of a savior, and it was simple. The gospel's simple. It doesn't, I don't have to take much or to do much. But it's by grace that we're saved and by faith. And so I remember praying with my mom, and I was just like, I think I'm going to hell. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I just connected. Like if I'm either for him or I am against him. I remember hearing something and realizing that, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be against him. Like he's good and he's so generous and he loves me so much. Like I want to be saved. And so I prayed with her, but I really don't think it was until, and again, I don't know if that was just maturity as a kid growing up. You're like, where does that kind of growth come in? But I remember being in high school or maybe late junior high, and a friend from church used to sit next to me, and he'd always be like, so what'd you read in your Bible today? And it was like so convicting. I'd be like, I didn't read my Bible today. I don't know what I'm learning. I'm not really digging it. I'm attending church on Sunday mornings, but I'm not really spending time with the Lord. And so I think I just felt that reminder that like this is a personal relationship with Jesus. What does that look like for me? Am I spending time in his word? Am I spending time in prayer? Am I really seeking him? And am I seeking to know him and to grow in him? And so it was convicting. I was like, I need to have an answer. Like I need to be able to come back and be like, I'm reading my Bible, and a little accountability too. So I think it was during that time that I really just started digging into my Bible and just started reading and spending time in the word. And I think really making church a priority, not just to attend and to leave, but to really see and to just ask the Lord, like, what do you want me to learn and grow in? What do you want from me? And how does, even too, like just the local church, I kind of remember being in high school and being like, okay, I can kind of go this way with this group of friends, or I can kind of go this way and lean on the Lord and lean on these people who are so faithful and love him and are there for me. I remember like small group leaders showing up at high school volleyball games for me. And I was like, really? You took your Wednesday afternoon or, whatever to show up, and just seeing the care and the love of just wiser, older
people,
sweet, godly people that just cared for me and wanted me to grow and wanted to invest in my just walk with the Lord. I feel like that was just so encouraging to me. I think it compelled me to want to do the same. Number one, to be responsive, to be like, man, you're putting in your time to care for me. Okay, I'll listen to what you have to say. And then I think on the latter, it compelled me to do the same. And so as soon as I was out of high school, I dropped out of college very quickly, but I quickly went on high school staff for years and did the same discipling and mentoring high school girls. And it was just a blast. It was one of those, I'm like, I've been poured into and I want to pour out.
I love that. That's truly the gospel working in.
Yeah.
It's like when the fruit of it is that you feel that love, right? Like God so loved us that he sent his son, and then therefore we respond in love.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I want this for other people.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, I had a similar experience in that I had to make a decision. And when I looked at the fruit of the people I was around, her hanging out with, choosing to hang out with versus the people that my mom had around our house, the youth group that I was kind of a part of, but like not really.
Right.
I wasn't really paying attention. I'd go sometimes and have like one earphone or headphone in, and because I was curious, but I wasn't sure. I was still kind of hesitant. And I got to a pinnacle point in my life where I was making that decision of, what do I want? And I see these people who care about me, who pray for me, and I'm like not giving them the time of day versus these other people who, when something is going wrong, they don't.
You're not there.
They're not there. They have no clue, or they're just kind of like maybe making it worse, talking behind your back, or whatever it is, where then you realize, who do I really want to be around? And so I saw that, and I was really like, I like the safety. I like the love. You really feel cared for. And
I think
it draws you in.
Who you want to be too. We always say to our kids, we're always like, you become the 5 people that you're closest to, right? You're like, who are you spending your time with? Who are you rubbing off on? And no wonder you have a bad attitude. No wonder you're grumbling. No wonder you're not thankful, because that is what you're feeding yourself. And so I think that too, you're like, oh, who do I want to be? I want to be like that. And so, and I think obviously that can come too in what we're absorbing, what we're watching, what we're taking in, whether that's who we follow or who we whatever. It's
social media.
Yeah, who you follow is who you become. So be careful.
It's true. It's really, I think that it is infiltrating in ways that I think we don't realize as much. And I had this thought the other day where I was really considering with the Father, are these people that I would, if I was walking around, in my life, would I actually have these people in my life?
Sure.
Would I hang out with these people?
Right.
Would I want to be influenced by these people? Like,
put it in real
life. And then I'm like, would I hang out with that person? I mean, if you directed me to go spend time with them, of course, but otherwise then probably not, because it's not the best influence. So then it really challenged me to think about, who am I allowing to follow me and for me to follow them? Because even when we think, oh, it's not really affecting me, I'm just kind of, checking it out. It really is affecting us more than we realize.
Yeah, and the thing too of it's either you're having influence in a space or you're being influenced.
Exactly.
There's no neutral, really. I think it's one of those. I think it's, you're either influencing for good or you're influencing for not.
Exactly. And with your kids, how do you navigate with, you have all your kids are a little bit older.
Yeah.
So it's the youngest is?
My youngest is 12.
12.
So I round up, it's easier. So if I go 12, 14, almost 16, almost 18, which is crazy. I'm like, I'm 23, so I don't know how the math on that works. Just kidding.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, time is crazy.
Is 23 when you had your first?
It is.
I know. Isn't that like, that's how I feel.
That's like
I
a
feel
year.
like I'm still 22.
Yeah.
And that's when I had my first.
Yeah.
So it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh, but I'm not. I feel like it. I feel young.
Yeah.
But you're saying, how do I navigate that with
Yeah, how do you
them?
navigate, faith practically in the
Yeah.
household, navigating, going from homeschool to
Yeah.
being at public school? It's a lot different.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a journey. There's no arrival. We're still in process, obviously, with our ages. But I think our hope is for them to see um, Christ in us and to see
Yeah.
our relationship with the Lord, and for that to be an example over, their years and time, obviously being in our home and being
Yeah.
raised under two people who love the Lord and love his people and love the church and want to make our lives about much more than ourselves. I hope they see that, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's a dance. Their faith is their own. It is
Yeah.
not ours, and it's not a formula. And
Yeah.
so I think that's been humbling, super humbling, especially as being a high school, small group leader. You're like, man, I have all the answers. This is so great. I can just lead everyone. And then you have your own kids, and you're like, doesn't quite work
Doesn't
like
work
that.
that.
Yeah, like my own kids, like, really,
Yes,
my
exactly.
small group girls were like, oh my gosh, you hung the moon. My own
Yeah.
kids are like, oh, I don't want to listen to you. No,
It's
no,
true.
but our kids are wonderful. But I think there are things that obviously they're in their own faith journeys and they're in their own walks. And so I think my hope is that we hold them accountable, that they see and fear the Lord. I think that's the goal, is that my kids they fear him and they know how much he loves him at the same time. And that there's so much hope, right? We're in
Yeah.
desperate need for a savior. It is hopeless.
Yeah.
But then there's that, but God,
Yeah.
but there's so much hope at the same time. And so
Right.
I think that's my hope, is that they have a desperate need for a savior.
Yeah.
And so, and again, that might always be easy. It's a hard prayer to pray for your kids, that they see how desperate they are for the Lord.
Right, because that means that
might not be
that they
easy.
have to feel that.
Right. And that's heavy and that's hard. But at the same time, that's it. Like, I'm like, I don't care if you're a trash truck driver. I mean, whatever you want to be, whatever, none of that matters. I'm like, my hope and prayer is that you love and know the Lord at the end of the day. And that is it. That is what it's all about. So yeah, that's our hope for them.
Yeah. It is really challenging.
Yeah.
To watch your kids start to get into the, where they have to choose for themselves.
Yeah.
And you want them to experience it for themselves, but they also have to have that need.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just go back to, for me, my sake is how I feel now. And I look back and I'm like, I am so thankful.
For sure.
My mom said the things that she did, that she was the reason when I was at my worst. I looked at her and was like, she has this faith that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
I want that.
I want that.
Yeah.
And that at that point, it felt like the only hope I had left. And so I'm like, okay, here we go. Going to read my Bible.
Yeah.
And go after God. And like, whatever this looks like, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And just went after it. So then it reminds me to, okay, my kids, like, they might not understand yet.
Sure.
But later on.
Yeah, they'll see that faithfulness.
Playing the long game.
Yeah, it's a total long game.
It's
We'll
a
see
long
faithfulness
game.
over time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah. And so your kids with CJLA, what do they talk about with CJLA now? Carly Jean, we'll talk. Do they have like memories that they always talk about that they love since they were little?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, we've had so many iterations. It's back in the day, OG days, when I had a shop. There's a few years that I kind of shut our shop down.
Yeah.
I did some other stuff on the side, interiors, and I had a candle line kind of out of that store. And then we went back online in 2015.
Yeah.
And we started it in our house. So, I mean, our kids are going to be like, we've lived in stores. Vivid memories of us having little pop-up shops at the house, or helping with that, or getting stuff ready for that, or just the amount of people and having people come through and seeing, I hope, the way we cared for people and loved people and how we interact with people. And I think they'll remember there was one season where CJLA had just exploded in 2018. It was when Instagram stories had started.
Yeah.
And
that's probably when I
maybe found it. Maybe. We went on, in 2018, it just kind of exploded. And we were like always 500 orders behind. We're shipping out of our house. Wow. We had to move our furniture out of our living room and like into the back. We were like, this is temporary for like a couple of days. Right. We don't know what to do. We can't fit inventory.
Right.
And so we had like furniture moved out and just like rolling racks, like a warehouse it was comical. Looking
Yeah.
back, you're like, oh my gosh, what child had to live in this?
But there are so many brands that start that way.
Yes, they were like walking through the way,
Yes.
you know, the like sea of clothing racks to get to the kitchen, and we were like, okay, this cannot last this long.
It brings so many memories,
Yeah.
though. I know we have a family friend who their family started a business
Yeah.
together
Neat.
in food
Okay,
industry.
yeah.
But same thing, out of the house, they're all together, like they're all in there living in this
Yeah.
space, like refrigerators everywhere, like the
Yeah,
whole thing.
it's part of the.
But there's so many memories behind it, and so
Yeah.
I'm sure your kids, like, there's so many core memories for them within that.
Yeah, and I think obviously they've seen. I think sometimes someone, you know, might see the brand or find us and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's just an overnight thing. This thing just happened."
Right, right.
And I always joke, I'm like, CJLA was like a 21-year overnight success. Like, like it's been 21 years since
Right.
since I started it, and
Wow.
it has been in 2004. So, but you're like, that is like years and years
Yeah.
of
Day in and day out.
day in
yeah.
and day out. Yeah, it is not. I know on social media, I think it's easy to be like, oh my gosh, you just
Yeah.
do this thing and it just happened and it's so quick and easy. I'm like, it's not. There's been blood, sweat, and tears and,
Yeah.
you know, crazy adventures along the way. Really heavy, hard, and really wonderful,
Yeah.
amazing things along the way
Right.
too. But I think our kids obviously having like a first-hand view of that, I
Yeah.
hope that they can look back. My hope is they see faithfulness of just
Yeah.
like we were faithful to the Lord with what we had and just a stewardship perspective, and just that we were, I hope they see just generous with what we did, and it wasn't necessarily about us, but we were
Yeah.
creative with it. And I hope they see hard work in that too,
Yeah.
in those memories looking back. But yeah.
And then as a mom, with your kids in that season of when they're really little,
Yeah.
and you're working and you have them with you,
Yeah.
practically like it looks different.
Totally.
So that means that, you know, speaking to for other mothers, give, you know, encouragement, it means like maybe your house doesn't look perfect.
Sure.
Or maybe you have a nanny that comes and helps and the nanny's with you, or you have a house cleaner. Like it can look different ways,
Sure.
but I'm sure you experience the same thing.
Yeah, there's different. Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of both. I think two things. One, I'd say there's seasons, right?
Yeah.
Some of those seasons when my kids were little, for me, it was a pause season.
Yeah.
We had CJLA running in our brick and mortar store, and I paused. We ended up closing the store. We liquidated our product. I went and changed what I did to be something that was more online. I ran a blog, I did a candle line, and all that was done out of my home.
Okay.
And so I think that allowed me in that season of littles to really be present. And that was super helpful. And again, I know that might not be an option for everyone, but if there is a way to be as creative as possible and to see kind of the long game in that, you know, we don't have to run at this same pace for every single year and season.
Yeah.
And again, that's a personal choice for each family. Every family is going to be different. So be careful, obviously, in the comparison game of this person's doing it and this person's not. That's tricky.
It depends. It depends on the marriage dynamic.
The resources.
It depends on resources. It depends on how the kids are doing.
Yeah.
Because every kid is so different.
Yeah.
But it is helpful when you start from a young age. They're used to it.
Yeah.
They're used to just coming along.
Yeah.
Like this is normal.
Yeah.
This is normal life.
Yeah. And I think just being mindful to the best of your ability to really either bring them in and incorporate that, or the opposite is to kind of go, hey, I'm going to be really mindful with these kind of time blocks in a sense where, maybe a family member is coming to watch them, or a couple of friends and I would like trade babysitting.
Yeah.
We'd be like, okay, you watch my kids and you go run your errands or do your thing. I'll watch your kids, you know, just creative things like that you can do. But I think one thing I'm really grateful for, and I think my husband Chad was a huge part of that, is he really encouraged me and challenged me to push pause for a season when they were little. And he was like, hey, you can always come back to this. And that was hard. I really was like, I don't know what that's going to be to pause. Like what happens if the momentum is gone? And this is it was, a season where it was profitable. It was one of those choices where like, this is good. This is, and so I think being mindful to go, hey, there might be a better and a best, or a best yes to things. You're like, that might not be the best. I might need to do this for this season. So I think just being open to that, and just seeking the Lord, asking Him, if it's someone out there going, I don't know what to do in this season. Do I go hard in this? Do I pull back in this? I think just really seeking the Lord, and then obviously as a husband and wife, really, if you're married, if you're not, obviously that's you and the Lord or counsel around you. But I think really each family is unique. So if you're, really seeking your husband's leading in that too, what does he want for your family and what does he feel? Because that was really Chad's lead, honestly. I was like, we're just going to charge through. And he was like, I think you should pause. I'm like, no, really?
I know.
And I think submitting to that was hard. I was like, but I don't want to do that.
Right. But
it was the best.
Covering is so helpful.
Yeah.
It's so helpful. And there's so many times that we have to be careful. We think that what the decision is correct for ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
And then the man steps in and is like, hey, this is actually, because, ideally he's walking in a way that, right, like Christ loves the church, right? The way that the husband loves the wife.
Yeah.
And so when it is functioning that way, the way God designed,
100%,
he's covering us and seeing, hey, this is probably a little too much, and is able to navigate that. And it's so freeing to have that in a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy, but it is.
It doesn't
good.
Make it easy. No, not.
It's good.
But in the long run, and I love thinking about that too, is that we're so focused on the here and now.
Yeah.
So in that moment, it must have felt like, wow, is this ever going to come back?
Oh, 100%.
Right?
No,
this is just like,
it was like death.
Yeah.
Like I literally was like, this is never going to happen again. I don't know what I'm going to do. I
love
that little outlet. And the Lord was so kind. Like it was, I think we grew, I want to say like 10,000%, something crazy in our numbers of what it was going back. Like you couldn't even touch it. So I think there's that sweet reminder of just like God's ways are always better.
And how many years was that in between?
5.
5 years.
We have a puppy. We can pause if we need to.
5. That's wild. 5 years.
Yeah.
So but then you see.
I'm like doing the math on it. I'm like, was that 5? Ford was born. What's their age difference? Yeah, about 4.5, 5 years.
Right. But looking back now, you're like, that was like a blip.
Oh, a blip.
Yeah.
And so I grew in so many ways. I think a big part too is to what the brand is now.
Yeah.
Really originates out of that season for me. It was me post having 4 kids.
Right.
And going, I just wish I had the shop back. It really came back out of a need, a problem solve, honestly. I was like, I don't want to go to 50 stores at the mall to try to drag my 4 littles around and be like, let's go try on 500 things at the mall with all 4 of my children.
Right.
I was like, could this be simpler? Could we do this all in one spot? Could this come to my house? Like, that is why Carly Jean Los Angeles, I feel like, exists. And even in the pop-up shop days, I was like, bring your littles. I would have a basket of toys or a thing, it was like really intended for women in that season.
Mothers.
To be like,
I love that.
I get it. You don't want to try on, and all the jeans in the mall don't even fit. So let's make perfect jeans that you can buy that ship to your doorstep.
Yes.
And you get more time to be with your family and more time to do the things you want to do. And we can just outfit you from afar.
I will say with COVID and that shift and a lot of things going online, or even right before COVID hit, you could start doing that pickup. I think it started at Target.
Sure.
Where you could drive up and then they would just bring it out to you. And that is really helpful as a mom, where you do not have to do the unbuckle, rebuckle for a short trip.
Yeah.
Because it is fun to go shopping.
Sure.
But then there's times where it's like, oh, just having that makes it just that much easier and that much more enjoyable.
Right.
Because at a certain point, with the kids at the store, and then you're like, you get to a point where you're just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
They're crying. You're like, just put it all away. I'm not even sure what I want anymore.
Right. Decision making is all shifted a little skewed.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that is totally our heart and our hope with CJLA. That's why we went online and not into a brick and mortar again. We realized we could service women all over the world, and we could help them in a styling setting, in a helpful way to show them how to mix and match. We could do that all virtually. And so there's still a little part of me that's like, oh, I love a brick and mortar experience because I love people. I love being with people. I love seeing that interaction and having that. But we do pop-ups and we do tent sales and fun events. We do tons of events throughout the year as little ways to kind of get our little fix of real life. I'm like, let's be together in real life.
Because then you don't always have the overhead.
Yeah.
You don't always have the overhead. So then you get kind of that freedom. Yeah. Kind of like the best of both worlds.
A little mix of both. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So then with CJLA, so if you, after those 5 years, and then you kind of came back, and what did that look like?
Yeah, I originally was like, let's open a store, because that's what I know how to do, right? You kind of you gravitate to things that you've done or that you know. And it really was my husband Chad's leading and prompting, where he's like, we can do Carly Jean again.
Yeah.
But we are not opening a store. I'm like, what? I don't even know my Facebook login. How am I going to open a virtual online store? This is not going to happen. And he's like, we'll figure it out. We'll open, we can do pop-ups or something like, you know, I kind of was like, I think I maybe was like, can we do something, pop-ups? And he's like, yes, we can do that. But he's like, let's go online. We just have more ability to reach more people, and we don't have the overhead or really the bandwidth too. I was still a young mom.
Yeah.
I had littles. Navy was like maybe 2.5, 3. So she was still little, you know.
Yeah.
My other boys were starting elementary school
Yeah.
and were a little bigger, but we needed something that was kind of conducive to our life. So, so we started in our house, and we went online. We figured out how to make a website. We figured out how to. I was the model, the try-on person. It was just like
all the hats,
the DIY. Yeah, it was
Yes.
Chad and I in the beginning. We really together did that online.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. It's similar. And with Preserve, we took kind of a pause, and that felt like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Does this look bad that we're not,
Sure.
you know, going full speed ahead
Sure.
right after issue 1? But we really felt called to stop in that season. And then when God did kind of prompt us to go back into now working on issue 2, it's been like full speed ahead.
Sweet.
Like the favor, the provision over it is so different. I understand what you're saying, and then just seeing big picture.
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, that time was needed.
Yeah.
The way it was spent was purposeful
Yeah.
for what's going to come.
Sure.
So the same for you guys, and that shift, and also not even just for the brand, but for your family.
100%.
Right? So for your family, for you as an individual, I mean, God's always thinking about all the different layers. It's never just one thing.
Right.
He's thinking about the success of you primarily, your family, your relationships, and then of course the brand.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that. That's amazing. Your story has been, it's really inspiring.
Oh,
I didn't know all
sweet.
those details.
Oh, there's
all the little
more
details, 'cause I
details than
didn't-
anyone wants. We got plenty. We got 21.
I mean, 21 years of that, and kids all along the way doing that. Were all the kids, well, no. So you started it when you were 19. So then the kids would have come along the way
they're
as
all
you
in the middle of it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, they're all woven. They're all woven through.
Was that hard during pregnancy?
Yeah. I didn't have easy pregnancies, honestly, with any of them. But yeah, I look back and I'm like, we just made it work. I don't know. God's faithful. He's kind.
Yeah.
I think He provided people and help and all the things that were needed in their time. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Like, how did I do that?
How did that happen?
I
don't know if we could do that again. You know,
But I think
there were seasons I was driving a U-Haul. I would drive to U-Haul, rent a U-Haul.
Okay.
And we were doing pop-ups all over LA in friends' house. I'd call every friend who had a cool house in LA and be like, hey, can I do a pop-up in your shop? You invite all your friends. I'll invite all mine. I'll bring the snacks. I'll clean up everything. You won't even know we were there.
Yeah.
But you got to send this invite out and tell everyone to come. And we would load 13, 14, 15 racks of CJLA clothing, accessories, all the things. That we would set up a full-blown store in someone's house. We would do a 4-hour pop-up. Yeah. Having 100 people show up, and we'd shop and we'd try on, we'd do the whole thing. We'd tear the whole thing down, load it back into a U-Haul, drive it back home, unpack the U-Haul into our, I mean, I literally am like, what were we doing? But
that's wild.
A solid 3 years of that. Then we're like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We're doing pop-ups at our house, and we're doing this all online. So now we do like annual, parties and events and things. But
there's a reason
there
that
are
we
seasons.
don't. Yes, but there's a reason that God doesn't show us that ahead of time, because otherwise we would. We'd psych ourselves out and be like, we can't do that. We're
like, welcome home.
There would be. You would psych yourself out. So
oh no, you would not move forward. Right?
If
We'd
anything,
freeze.
so then just trusting God, and also knowing, I think that's a lot of freedom to know in motherhood that every season looks different.
100%.
And what you need to do in every season looks different, and just kind of pivoting, and that's okay. It's okay to pivot, and it's okay that it doesn't look exactly the same, and always just going back to the fact that God knew and knows exactly what you need in that season.
Yeah.
And so even when it feels rough, knowing it's for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. No, He's got it. He's got you, and He knows what's ahead too.
He knows.
And He'll carry you.
He will.